You hear about how many fourth quarter comebacks that a guy has, and I think it means a guy screwed up in the first three quarters. Peyton Manning. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 comebacks in history that were completely unexpected. '25. Greece. A couple thousand citizen soldiers defeated the overwhelmingly superior Persian army, not once, but twice. You can thank them for democracy. 24. John Travolta. Everybody thought he was over, until he did Pulp Fiction. 23. Aerosmith. Few bands have ever come back the way Aerosmith did in the 90s. 22. The American Revolution. In terms of numbers, there was no way that the colonies should have won that war, but they did. 21. Beck Weathers. During the 1996 Everest disaster, Beck was left alone on the mountain but managed to make his way down to base camp. Nobody thought he would survive, so they made him comfortable in a tent where he nearly froze to death. Again. He survived the second night in spite of losing his arm, both legs, and his nose. 20. Apple. In the late 90s, they were pretty much done as a company, at least until Steve came back and turned everything around. Also, Microsoft bailed them out for various reasons. 19. Muhammad Ali. Specifically his fight against George Foreman. Nobody thought he would win. 18. O.J. Simpson. Regardless of where you stand on the issue, everybody thought that he would get convicted. Somehow, though, the defense managed to pull out all the stops. 17. 1980 Olympics. During these Olympics, the US beat the Soviet Union in the ice hockey game that's come to be called the Miracle on Ice. The craziest part is that the Soviet players were all professionals, while the Americans were all amateurs, as per law. 16. Battle of Midway. Japan had destroyed a sizable portion of America's Pacific Fleet, but somehow the US still pulled through to defeat the Japanese. 15. The United Kingdom. More specifically, the United Kingdom during World War II. The Battle of Britain was looking pretty grim, but somehow that stiff British upper lip pulled them through. 14. Nelson Mandela. He went from a 27-year stint in prison to being the first black president of South Africa. 13. Visegrad Group. They went from being some of the most powerful kingdoms on the block to being overrun several times during the 20th century. After the fall of the Iron Curtain, however, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, and Poland began to rebound significantly faster than most former Soviet-aligned states. Today, they are still modernizing rapidly as part of the European Union. 12. Saudi Arabia. While the Middle East was the cradle of civilization, it definitely lost its flair for several thousand years, until they found oil. 11. Rome. In spite of constant defeats and eventually barely even having an army, Rome somehow pushed back the Carthaginians. 10. Michael Jordan. I can see you rolling your eyes, but I just had to include some comedy in the list. It was getting too heavy. In all seriousness, though, this was a pretty hyped up comeback that led to a lot of disappointment. 9. Apollo 13. There has probably never been more of a successful failure in history. 8. Napoleon. He was exiled, came back, and had to be exiled again. 7. Robert Downey Jr. He was messed up for a long time, but as of this recording, he's more popular than ever. 6. Virtual reality. They tried to do stuff with it in the 90s, but mostly failed. These days, it's a fast-rising aspect of technological advancement. 5. Comic books. For those of you that don't know, Marvel almost went bankrupt at one point. 4. The Soviet Union during World War II. With one of the most powerful armies the world had ever seen on the doorstep of their capital, the Soviets managed to push the Nazis all the way back to Berlin. 3. Germany. On a similar note to the Soviet Union, Germany, as the world's fourth largest economy in spite of being the epicenter of 2 world wars, is quite amazing. 2. Japan. Of course, I can't forget to mention Japan. It was devastated twice through nuclear warfare, and today it's right up there with Germany. 1. Jeanna Giese. This teenager from Wisconsin is the first known person in human history to have survived rabies without the vaccine. For those of you who don't know, this happened in 2004 when she was treated with an experimental method known as the Milwaukee Protocol. Basically, she was put into a medically induced coma and injected with antiviral drugs. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 2 videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.